Greg Kading saying that Tupac being shot 5 times in New York is an urban legend is not factually correct. Yeah, I got the facts and the information. And actually, I know the nurse that worked on him. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Blackjack. Life is like the cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, notification. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, if you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Kading was not in New York City on November 30th when Tupac got shot at Quad Studios. I need you to understand this. This is very important because, like I said once again, Greg Kading didn't know Tupac Shakur. Greg Kading gets credit for the investigation he was doing into Biggie's murder, and consequently he got Keefe D to give up the information in regards to what happened in Vegas involving Tupac Shakur. He definitely gets credit for that. But once again, it seems that once somebody is given credit for something involving Tupac Shakur, they now try to become the all-in, be-all information or speculation information box for Tupac. Let's be clear. Greg Kading was not in New York. Greg Kading did not know Tupac Shakur. Period. So with that being said, there was an interview that he did on YouTube that with Anything Goes with James English. And in this interview, Greg Kading makes this preposterous suggestion that Tupac saying that he was shot 5 times was a thing of urban legend, if you will, right? And so you have to be very careful. Like I say, when people say stuff, you got to be very careful, especially if you can't back it up with any kind of factual information or firsthand information in regards to people who were actually there. Greg Kading, who was a detective at that time for the LAPD, did not investigate or was not on scene after Tupac got shot. Period. We've established that. But there was somebody who was on scene. But let me give you what Greg Kading said. Listen to this.
When he tried to pull his own pistol out of his waistband in the heat of the moment, he's trying to pull his own pistol out and he shoots himself, and that bullet goes through his leg, through his groin, and back in, so he shoots himself. And then, of course, his hand is lacerated because as he's grabbing the gun, he doesn't have a proper grip on it, which is one of the reasons why it accidentally discharged. And the slide came back and sliced his finger in the web of his thumb here. So the idea that he was shot 5 times, that's just urban legend.
That's speculation. None of that's true. You can believe it, but from the detective who was actually on the scene, and like I said, I usually go by somebody who was closer to the situation. There was one part, and I'm gonna give you the information that the detective said that I found out later that wasn't true. I'm sure you guys found out later that it wasn't true, but for the most part, all of the other information that he gave up was accurate and consistent with what Tupac said himself, right? So Greg Kading wasn't in New York. How can he say how many times Tupac got shot or not got shot? As Tupac said, as well as the doctors had said, and I know somebody personally She won't do the interview with me because she still works for the city of New York. But I know somebody personally that was Tupac's nurse. Facts. And one day, hopefully, she'll come out and she'll talk to me. But let me give you this. Like I said, Detective George Naggie was actually there on scene, and basically what he said was Tupac came to the studio. Tupac pressed the intercom button. The four were buzzed in as they walked toward the elevator. Tupac, according to the police report, was ambushed by 3 men, including the man who had been standing just outside the lobby. 2 of the 3 men pulled identical handguns. NYPD Detective George Naggie said, this is somebody who was there. Greg Kading wasn't there, but yet says that Tupac, saying that he was shot as urban legend. He wanted to create urban legend, but Greg Kading so now knows that that's urban legend because somehow, some way, he came up with this notion, which is simply not true. They went straight for Tupac, ordering him to the floor and demanding he give up all his jewelry and money. When Tupac went for his gun stashed in his waistband, they shot him. A round hit him in the groin area and passed through his thigh. This is the detective that was on scene, right? Once again, Greg Kading said that Tupac shot himself. And the reason why he got the bandage on his hand was because he tried to reach and the gun went back and sliced his hand. Where did Greg Kading get this information? It's speculation. He's believed because he was a former detective, but he has not proven anything with concrete evidence. Just merely what he's saying. Believe me because I'm Greg Kading and you know my name. We can't go with that. We believe Tupac Shakur and Detective George Naggie. Let me go on. That bullet cost him a testicle. We know that Mr. Naggie was wrong on that, right? And like I said, later on, Tupac talked about that. But Tupac did say in an interview that they were trying to blow my fucking balls off. Y'all remember that, right? Then the gunman began beating him. They ripped his jewelry off of him, then shot him again, hitting him in the chest. Tupac was shot 5 times, twice in the head, twice in the groin area, and once in his left hand. Now, whether the bullets grazed his head, right? He was shot. This is Detective George Naggie, right? And Tupac confirmed as much.
I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence.
So if the detective is on scene, getting the police report at the hospital, doing all of this, why is he lying? Right? Listen. Freddie was shot once in his abdomen. None of the wounds were life-threatening. The men also snatched jewelry from Freddie Moore as they continued holding guns on the others, Naggie said. All told, Tupac had $35,000 worth of gold taken from him. Stolen were a diamond and gold ring, a gold bracelet, and several heavy gold chains. Freddie had $5,000 worth of jewelry stolen, which consisted of a gold bracelet and several gold chains. Right? Right? This is information from Detective George Naggie, who was on the scene. Tupac also confirmed this. Once again, like I told you, all due respect to Greg Kading, but Greg Kading doesn't know what he's talking about in this situation. And like I said, Greg Kading has tried to make himself the go-to all for Tupac Shakur information. when Greg Kading didn't know Tupac. Like I said, I give him props for, the situation involving the KBD situation and how that came about. But at the end of the day, the information that he discussed on this podcast is simply not true. It's simply not true. And to say that Tupac saying that he got shot 5 times is an urban legend is crazy, And so, like I said, once again, we all know, because Tupac said it out of his mouth. The doctors at Bellevue Hospital said it. The young lady who I know, who was Tupac's nurse, who Tupac actually wrote a letter to. I have the letter. Here it is right here. Yeah. Y'all ain't never seen this before. Right? But the sister won't come out because of her job. And I respect that. But this is the letter, handwritten letter that Tupac wrote her. Yeah. So when we talk about facts, information, that one knows versus one doesn't know, you got to be careful who you're listening to. Like I said, Tupac Shakur was right about what he said and the information that he gave. Detective George Naggie was correct about the information that he gave. The doctors at Bellevue Hospital were correct about the information that they gave. And also the nurse, who I know, was correct about the information that she gave. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.